there, welcome into the latest edition of the SAU Baseball Coaches Show. I'm Daniel Gallegos, joined alongside head baseball coach Steve Browning. And coach, one more weekend left here in the regular season. Your team's still battling for a position in the Great American Conference Tournament. You've clinched a spot, have a chance to finish second in the conference. A big weekend coming up against Arkansas Monticello. It's on the road. 3 games back from them, 3 games left with them. Talk a little bit about that series coming up.
Well, it's like we've said every time, every series is huge, and now here it is, we're at the end of the year. Big weekend for us. Obviously we've kind of missed out on the opportunity of being the regular season champs, which was one of our goals, but we still have a lot of goals ahead of us that we want to accomplish, and one of those is to win that conference tournament. So right now it's all about seeding. It's about we've got a chance to still finish second, but just to tell you how good this conference is this weekend we can finish second to fifth. I mean, that's what these 3 games this weekend can do to not just our program, but some of the other programs that are still fighting to get in. But again, it shows how good our conference has been this year. But dude, we head to Monticello, huge weekend. It's going to be big for them because they're still fighting for a chance to win the regular season. So it's both of us got a lot on the line. With the regional rankings coming out this week, it even adds a little more to that stake, I guess, for both of us.
Yeah, you just talked about the regional rankings. The Great American Conference has 3 of the top 4 in baseball. Arkansas Tech came in at number 1, Southern Arkansas number 2, Arkansas Monticello at number 4. That's really different than what has happened in the past couple of years for the Great American Conference. Do you think that speaks to how great the competition is this year in this league?
Well, I think there's several things. I think one, the 3 teams you're speaking about, Arkansas Tech, us, and UAM did a really good job of having a very good non-conference schedule as well. And that helps, and then on the other side of it, yes, our conference being as good as it has been this year, because those are games you have to play. You don't go out and schedule those, so sometimes if you have to play those games and a team's below 500, that hurts you. But with our conference being as good as it's been this year and competitive, those are some very strong regional games that are built into your schedule. And then, like I said, and then just the fact that all 3 of us have taken care of our schedule and done a really good job throughout the year. But it does show a lot of how strong our conference is this year. Because that's the first time we've, in the 3 years, this is our 3rd year to be in this new region. There's only been 1 team from our conference to go to the regional tournament, and then right now you're looking at the possibility of 3. So that shows how far along we've come along baseball-wise in our conference.
Looking back to last week, trying to continue to brag on some individual achievements in your program. You had your sophomore left-hander Timothy Buchanan come out in Game 2 against Southern Nazarene, and he threw a no-hitter. Wound up being a 7-inning no-hitter. The game was scheduled for 9 innings, but to no fault of Timothy, your offense came out and really got it to where it was shortened to the 7-inning game, but nonetheless he came out and threw a no-hitter and really looked very dominant out there, tied a career high with 12 strikeouts. Talk a little bit about that, not only just him throwing the no-hitter, because that's a tremendous achievement in itself, but in terms of maybe his confidence going forward, because he was kind of struggling there for you for a bit.
Well, that's the biggest thing. And again, congratulations to Timmy. That's awesome. It's congratulations to our program, because there's a lot of guys that made that possible. Yes, he was very good on the mound, but his brother, which is awesome, had an opportunity to catch him, and he did a very good job calling the game that day. And then we made plays behind him. But it was huge for us just to get Timmy back on the win column, because he started the year 5-0. And then, but he's had either a loss or a no decision in his last 5 starts. And offensively, we haven't been very good for him in his last couple starts, and that kind of hurt him a little bit. So it was nice to come out and jump out to a 10-0 lead in the first 2 innings. So I think it helped him just relax and go, you know what, I'm not, because his last couple starts, the 2nd, 3rd inning, every pitch is like it's the 9th inning and the ballgame's on the line, because everything was so tight because we weren't scoring for him. And I think the offense gave him a chance just to relax, and then he came out and he did the rest. And it was fun to watch, and you don't get to be a part of that too often. And so it was good for him, it was good for our program, and like I said, more importantly, to get him back in the win column and hopefully get a little confidence going here late in the year.
Yeah, the no-hitter for Timothy Buchanan was the 5th in program history, first since 2009 when Hayden Simpson threw one. But also, too, another really good individual performance on the mound for you came in your midweek game against Harding University. You threw out another lefty in Colton Strother in that midweek game. Sometimes you don't really necessarily know what you're going to get. You kind of hope a guy's going to be able to give you some innings. He wound up giving you 9 solid innings. And really, the start of that game, it could have been maybe disastrous for him. Gives up a couple of hits runners on the corners, double play scores run, but that's all he gives up.
Right.
So talk about Strother and how he was able to get out of that first inning and then obviously pitch the complete game.
One, it was huge for us because with some of the injuries we've had here late in the year, our whole staff has kind of been depleted and had to move guys around. And when you have to move your weekday guys up to your weekend, but he did a great job. Really, we was thinking if we can just get 5 or 6 out of him and turn it over to the bullpen, kind of shorten the game down a little bit, it'd be great. But like you said, the first inning he comes out and it's like base hit. They're first and third. You're like, oh no, and then. But then he gets his first of, I think, 3 ground ball double plays that game, and really Colton just made pitches when he needed to, and he did that from the first inning on. When he needed to make big pitches, he did it. Like I said, our defense turned 3 double plays for him, which were huge. And then offensively, we had an okay day. We didn't. I'd like to see us do a little better, but I think we had 14 hits and did enough to get out there with a win. And wins, any win right now is good. This time of year and. This many ball games into it, you'll take what you can get. But it was good to see him be able to go 9 because this time of year you're trying to figure out, well, these tournaments are going to be 4 and 5 games long. You've got a game 1, a game 2, and maybe a game 3 starter who can go 4 or 5, that type of stuff. So that was huge for not only him for some confidence, but us as a coaching staff to know, we've got another guy that we feel like we could put out there because Harding's a good team. They're going to be in that conference tournament, and it just gives us confidence to know we possibly found us another starter here late in the year.
We appreciate it very much for your time. Again, that's head baseball coach Steve Browning. One more very big weekend in the regular season on tap for the Mule Riders. They make the relatively short trip to Monticello to take on UAM and a 3-game series starting the single game on Friday. And then the doubleheader on Saturday has been moved forward to 1 p.m., correct?
1 p.m. They've got senior day Saturday, so with the time change, I think it was easier for us just to help accommodate and make sure we're not taking batting practice at 8 o'clock in the morning and they get their stuff in.
All right, and be sure to check MuleRiderAthletics.com for all your live links. There will be live stats throughout that 3-game series, and on Saturday, UAM will provide live video for that doubleheader. So again, be sure to check MuleRiderAthletics.com for all your live links. Coach, we appreciate it.
Thanks.